So Jess, any potential client considering working with you needs to be able to see themselves in the experience of someone that you've worked with before. So can you tell me a little bit about Con from Ray White? He knew he had an accountability problem. How did that manifest for him? What sort of symptoms were showing up?
Very typically, what happens in these situations is a client will come to us and they'll be inconsistent, poor cash flow, and they just don't know the real implementation strategy they should take with their team. Effectively, they're turning up each day and week, really not knowing the steps to take to grow. And with Con's business, we'll be able to go in, set up what I call reverse engineering exercise, where we look at the salespeople's goals, reverse engineer those, and we develop a day-to-day plan of what they need to do to do the measurement and tracking part of it, which has been pivotal for their business in terms of starting to regain that consistency piece, which a lot of businesses lack.
When you talk about reverse engineering, what you're doing is you're going in and mapping out the vision of where they want to get to and finding the most direct path to that. Is that what you're talking me through?
Yeah, effectively what we do is we look at their big goals. Most businesses I go into, the salespeople will have a big goal, and let's call it $1 million they want to write per year, but then they don't really know the steps or the strategy to take to get to that destination. So they might say to me, oh, I've got it in my head what I want to do, but they don't know what I call soft and hard KPIs. So we develop a reverse engineer that into a plan, and then we make sure that we can set up some accountability in businesses that ultimately we want the team members to then have their own awareness day to day of what they need to do to be able to continue to drive consistency.
What sort of results did that net for Con and his team?
Well, very quickly in the space of 2 to 3 months, they've been able to close that inconsistency gap. I go into their business and spend some quality time with their team, and really this is the big part that I focus on, is the implementation part of helping them develop that awareness of looking at their numbers day to day and making sure that we know, for example, do they know their conversion rate from listing appointments to listings? Do we know what their days on market looks like? Do we know how many connects they need to do per day, per week to be able to drive consistency of listings? So it's that real strategy of really breaking it down piece by piece where they're able to really close that gap.
Is this something that you think that agencies can do by themselves, or is it always important to have an outsider looking in?
Well, I guess I'm a bit biased in this part. I think me coming into a business, and in Con's own words, after a couple of months working together, he said that the biggest piece that we've lacked is implementation. So if they knew what they wanted to do, they knew potentially the numbers and where they wanted to go, but it was that implementation plan they lacked with their team day to day, and that's been the biggest gap we've closed in their business.